Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. How was that music? I was really, really, really enjoying the music.
Oh, definitely
Um,
good.
for those of you that are just joining us, go ahead and share. This is our season one, episode one. So we can only do it with your support. So go ahead. Thank you, Natasha. Good evening. Lisa, good evening. Amorin, good evening. Let me know, guys, where are you joining from? It's important that we know where our viewers are. So let me know where you're joining from, please. So just say good evening from Tampa, good evening from Jamaica, good evening from Australia. We want to know where you are joining from. And we are live. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. For those of you that are joining us, this is going to be a fun show. We have five great Caribbean women, myself and four others that are doing this show. So we want your support. We want you to join us. So if you're joining us, go ahead, like and share because we're going to discuss some fun topics. You're going to get to know these five women, and we are going to get to know you. I see Natasha from New York. Good evening, and thank you for joining, Natasha. Toronto, Canada. Hi, Val. Like and share. Tamoy, good evening from Jamaica. We have Connecticut. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for liking and sharing. So I will not be the only one doing the talk this evening. I'm joined by four other beautiful, beautiful co-hosts. And I'll start out by saying that every now and again, you get this call. There's a call that comes into your life every now and again. For myself, and I'll speak for myself, but I think my other co-hosts will join me in saying our now and again is now. We all got a call from Ride Along Live, and I don't know what number I was on the list, if they had already called five women and I was number six, or they had called me when I was number one, or maybe I was number eight. But all I know is that I said yes. I said yes to this wonderful program. And I'm going to kick it over, and myself and my co-host, we're going to share with you some lovely topics this evening. So if you're joining us, go ahead, like and share. And I'm going to invite my co-host in, and we're going to talk about our journey to this evening. Colleen, let's hear from you, love.
Hi, everyone. This is Colleen. I'm joining you here from sunny New Jersey, but I am from the beautiful island of Grenada. And I'm here today to just bring some really Black awareness and having some fun. And as John Lewis said, let's have some good trouble conversations. Nice meeting you all, and I hope that we can join in some awesome convos and issues and topics that's going to bring us closer together. Nice
Colleen,
meeting you.
Colleen, where were you when Junior called? When you got the call or email, where were you? What were you doing? And what were your initial thoughts?
Oh, I was sitting in on an institute call, which was based off of education. And when I got the call, I was already in a nice positive mood, right? We were talking about things that are happening in our communities in terms of education. And so when I got the call, I was just like, wow, this is the time to use this platform to bring awareness to the people that are going to be tuning in, people that may not know. And so if I can use this to be a positive light for someone, why not? So I was, I guess, right place, right time, right information. And I'm here joining all of you ladies. So, yes.
Awesome, awesome. Hermelin, I'm loving the green earrings, girl. Talk to me
Thank
about
you.
talk to me about the green earrings. I am
Oh,
loving them, by the way.
thank you so much. I grabbed those on Amazon like a couple of weeks ago. I thought it was going to be too short, but my son said, Mom, you have to wear it. Rock this earring today.
Let me let's just put out a rule for our show. We're not going to use people's names unless they go
Oh,
advertise with us.
sorry.
So
Yes.
you got them from the A place,
From
right?
the A place.
From the
Yes.
A place.
Yes.
If the A place wants to advertise with us or fund our
Yes.
show, then certainly the A place
Yes.
can do so. But
Definitely.
they're gorgeous earrings. So where were you, Hermelin, when you get the call from Right Along and the team?
When I got a call, it was a Saturday, and at first I thought it was a joke, you know. I said, me? Why me? And then I was further explained to, we like your platform. I am a domestic abuse awareness coach. And they said, we want your views on the show, and we love what you do. So we would like you to be part of the show. And I was like, yes, okay. I was nervous, but I said yes.
It's so funny because a lot of people don't think when we're hosting these shows we're nervous. They think you just put your clothes on and you're ready to go. They don't know all the background that goes on. Nice, nice, nice.
Yes.
Colleen, let me see you, darling. Oh, look at Colleen. Colleen, state where you're from, the island you're representing, and the state you live, or the country. State that's our audience kind of knows what we're getting into. Let me take the opportunity to welcome everybody that's joining us. Remember to like and share. This is Five Caribbean Women, and we're going to give you the juice. We're going to talk about the juice. We're going to talk about if things affecting the Caribbean. We're going to talk about things that affect women in general. We're going to talk about some juicy topics. And if you want us to talk about a topic we're not mentioning, go ahead and leave it in the comments. Our producers are in the back; they're watching, and they'll leave it there. Raul, Mark, thank you, darling, and blessed evening to you as well. Cassandra, good day to you. Joycey, everybody, Dion Fraser, thank you for joining us. Colleen, tell the folks a little bit about you.
Oh, absolutely. So currently, I'm an education major at Medgar Evers College, and my area of study is special education. But I am very, very passionate about Black history. I'm passionate about social justice, and I'm just about Black empowerment overall. I just love to see my people thrive. I love to see my children in the communities doing positive things. And that is my main goal, to make sure that I'm being a change agent in my community so that I can bring about change. So, this is a little bit about me.
Thank you, Colleen. Thank you. And I have to bring the gorgeous Miss Victoria.
Hi.
Hi, Victoria.
All right, Victoria, where were you when Junior and issued the invitation, I should say? Where were you? What were you doing? And what were your initial thoughts?
Well, you might laugh. Okay. So that was one of my days off. Okay. So when I'm usually working, I'm working almost every day, Monday through Sunday. So that day when Junior called me, I was sleeping. Yes, it was a little late, but I was sleeping. And when he called me, I was pretty shocked because for me, I was like, wait a minute, what show is he talking about, and why did he pick me? So I'm like, okay. I said, let me call you back, and then I had to sink in for me to understand. I'm like, yes, of course, I definitely want to be on the show. I definitely want to empower women of all ages and speak about my interest and my passions. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Yeah.
So what island are you representing and what state are you? Where are you joining us from?
I'm in New Jersey.
Oh, you're in New Jersey as
Yes,
well.
yes. And I'm representing, so my mom is Grenadian and my dad is Jamaican. So I was able to experience both cultures and was able to go to both places and do a lot of volunteer work and knowing, my heritage, this is who I am. I'm Grenadian and Jamaican. So yes, I'm representing both Grenada and Jamaica.
So do you feel any conflicts between the two countries? Because I feel like you're more Jamaican than Grenadian.
What?
Any conflict?
No,
Any conflict?
No, I mean, I want to say more of anything, So in Grenada, I did a lot of volunteer work with like the Grenada Coalition of Child, donating to different foster programs, and also in Jamaica, I actually did a lot of volunteer with the hospitals, going there and speaking to people there because I did go to school for biology. So
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to say I'm more of anything, but both of them just combines and makes a beautiful me.
And I do hear a little bit of accent coming out now, Victoria. I hear a little bit. Let's bring in Yolandi. Hey, Yolandi. Let's top out the top 5 at 5. What's going on, my love?
Oh, I'm just here enjoying the weather. As you can see, it's a beautiful day outside. So I'm just taking it in, did this outside to take in the fresh air and to greet the audience that's out here on the
So
top
where were
5.
you when Juna issued your invitation? I'm curious. I wonder if you were number 1 or number 2 in the call list. We're going to find out from right along how this list came about. How were we so fortunate to make the top 5 and what number in the pick we were? Where were you, Landy? Tell us.
I don't know where I was in the pick, if I was somewhere in the middle, but when I got the invitation, I was asked to be a part of this. I was really surprised because I'm not really someone who puts myself out there or wants to be like in the limelight, so to speak. I'm more like a low key kind of person. I like to watch and observe. So this is kind of nerve wracking for me, even though I do a lot of speaking in general, in the work that I do and things like that. But this is kind of different because we're actually live. So like the word live, it really makes me nervous because I'm checking myself to make sure that everything is in place. Yeah. So this is a great experience, and I'm really happy that the producers considered me for this. And I'm looking forward to sharing some of the experiences that I had and talking about topics that are important for women, important for the world at general, and getting our perspectives as women of Caribbean descent or from the Caribbean is really a unique idea. So I'm really happy to be a part of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just so all our guests know, we thank you for joining us and we're asking you to continue to share. We're asking you to invite your friends because we're going to do this every Sunday at 5. The topics will change, they will vary, but it's always going to be 5 women and giving their perspectives on what's going on in the world. One of the things I wanted to start out with this week is about myself. I don't know where I was in the pick when Junior called, but I called Florida home, grew up in Jamaica. My husband's from Zimbabwe. So talk about this cultural dynamic that goes on in my world. I love this opportunity because it's one of the few chances I get to talk about things non-immigration related. Therefore, we're not going to talk anything about immigration. We're going to talk about issues that affect women, issues that affect Caribbean women. So call your friend, hold the watch party, and make sure you are joining into us. So I want to lead off this week's discussion, and we're going to talk about COVID because it's hard to not talk about, to have a conversation and not talk about COVID and how it's affecting women, whether you're a spouse or a mother or whatever your role is in the home. It's been March since we've been stuck at home, right? And so we've gone to this new normal. Now we're getting dressed up to hold these kind of town halls, these kind of meetings. I want to hear from you gals in no special order. How are you coping with COVID? Whether you're a parent, a wife, whether you're a single woman, it doesn't matter. How are you coping? Run away with that, ladies.
Well, I can say that with the whole COVID situation, I had to get some workout equipment in my house because being in the house for a long period of time can be a little bit stressful, especially when you're so used to being on the road every day and, you know, doing your everyday business, period. But in order for me to at least have my sanity during COVID, I had to get myself some workout equipment. I was able to do some things around the house. And also, I still was working. You know, my job as a real estate agent, they put us out as an essential worker. So I was still out there showing homes to people during COVID. And with that, I had to make sure that I protect myself. So, I mean, you know, it was a very stressful situation. I'm very happy that we're not quarantined anymore to a certain extent. But I'm hoping that, you know, this kind of just fades away. It sounds like, you know, like something magical in a way, but that's what I'm hoping that it would basically do.
As for me, with COVID for the first 4 weeks, I was numb. I couldn't even believe we was experiencing this. So all I did was work and sleep. And I couldn't think of anything. I couldn't even facilitate my group at that time. I felt I had nothing to say. I was just like in a daze, kind of, you know, I will say. And around the third week, like something happened, like a light bulb switched in my head, and something said, you got to keep going. And I started to do little lives, and I started to do little things, and I just came out of that rut. But for 1 month, I was in a rut because all I was thinking of was when I'm going to die. Like, which day am I going to get it and I'm going to die? So I was preparing, like, oh, like, is the will up to date? Is insurance up to date? Is, you know, all these things. That's what I was worried about in that 1 month period. But then my creativity kind of sparked, and now I'm in a good place.
So how are you doing how are you splitting the chores, Hermelyn? Like, how is it changing your world with just always being at home?
Well, with COVID, with me being at home now, I love it. I would say I love working from home. I love it. And I just love the creativity that I have now, that I think, like, if it wasn't for COVID, like, I wouldn't be doing a lot of things. Like, a lot of good things has happened to me during this period of time, whether it's my nonprofit or my group or personally, or even this being on top 5. This may not have happened if it wasn't for COVID. So I have like a lot of positive things come out of this thing that we're experiencing right now. So I like it.
You like it? Anybody else like it?
Yeah, well, it has its positives and it has its negatives. For me, the first few weeks was really hard. And I think I'm also an essential worker. I'm a nurse, so I don't work in the hospitals, but with my business, things were going fine. So I never really worried about that. But I think what really threw me off is listening to the news. And the more I heard is the more I would get nervous and the more anxiety I would have about the whole situation. So I actually sat down and had my days when I would actually cry that I'm never going to be outside again. And I'm not going to be able to do the things that I normally do, and just feeling really stuck. One of the good things I can say is that being like this and being at home with my kids and my husband, that in itself is like a huge accomplishment, to be around each other all the time.
All right, tell us what you mean by that, because
All the time.
I'm sure the married women that are watching, and Val Phillip, thank you, Val Hermelyn. She says it was extremely stressful in the beginning, but then coping mechanism kicked in. But tell us a little bit more about that, how it was coping at home with the husband and kids.
It's just different because, you know, when you're working and you're allowed to go to the mall, you can go to the gym and you can do this and that. Now you're not doing anything. and you're both home all the time. So I like to spend time with my husband. My kids are wonderful, but being at home all the time with this person and we're not allowed to go anywhere, you can't go to anybody's house, you can't go to the store, that was really, really strange. But it did tell me that if you can make it through COVID in a relationship, then you probably have something good. And I know that there's a lot of people out there, and a lot of women. You would hear things that domestic violence was on the uprise during this time because people who were stuck in very frustrating situations, who had nowhere else to go, they would stay home and fight. There'd be a lot of tension in the house. I never had that. The good thing is that we have enough space that one person could be upstairs or in another area of the house, so you don't have to see each other. So when you do, it'd be like, "Hi, how was the day? Did you have fun? Oh, I'm so happy to see you." So for all of that, it was great to get through all of that 24 hours together. Now it's just you feel like you just want to bust out. I'm hoping that as we go through these different phases and things start to open up again, that we'll be able to take a vacation together, as well as I can go on vacation with my family members alone, because it's nice to be able to go away. They say a little distance makes the heart grow fonder. That's a bit true, and it's nice to have a break. Everybody, you have a spouse, but you also have a life of your own, and that's something that I really enjoy, like doing things that I like by myself and going and coming and stuff like that. So with the kids, I think the children, I have a 16-year-old and 19, and one was away at college and she was sent home from school, of course. And her brother have had to do everything together. So playing cards and board games and working out. Normally, my daughter would probably be out with her friends. She can't do that. At 19 years old, she couldn't run out and say, "I'm going to go hang out with so and so." She has to stay home. So I think their relationship has grown a lot stronger, and everybody's a lot more attached, and that's a wonderful thing.
I like that.
Yes.
Then I hear a lot of Denise Cross, Victoria, she likes that you refuse to choose sides. Grenada, Jamaica, equal one people. If you're just joining us, we are your top 5 at 5. We're talking about all things affecting Caribbean women. We're encouraging you to like and share. There's also an opportunity if you want to support the program, and I'm going to turn it over. There you go. I was going to say turn it over to our team to kind of show you how you can support this program. We want to keep programs like these on the air. 5 Caribbean women talking about issues that affect Caribbean women. Like and share, like and share, like and share. I hear a lot of from the women about staying at home with the husband in the house and the kids coming back home. Talk to me about what's going on. Colleen, I see you laughing. Tell me what's going on, love.
Well, I'm laughing because I'm agreeing with all of you when I say, COVID has been either positive or brought about some negativity. In the worst way ever, being pulled out of your regular routine in any way, shape, or form has some type of negative reaction. Hearing about COVID, it was wrapping up our finals. That was alone in itself frustrating, because think about studying, thinking about prepping, thinking about being in a space with classmates and not being able to do that. But also having that on top of a child that is going to school, and you have your workload along with their workload, and trying to balance both of them out, right? Whose education is more important? Both of us. So it was a frustrating time, having to dedicate myself, and delegate things in the household where I am going to be covering homework assignments before I do my daily tasks. It was something that, within yourself, you have to change. I have to be more organized. I have to be more purposeful with my time. But, on a selfish note, that was what we have to deal with. And, being in education, you start thinking about the children who are not able to have the things or the time, or their parents being present to help with homework and having access to the information that they needed. So that was something that I constantly tried to think about. How is it that you can provide information to people that about tutoring or internet service or something like that. So it does come with the pros and cons because again, some people didn't have these things before, these resources, and because of COVID, sorry, it has brought about a lot of change for everyone. So I'm taking it the good and the bad all together, and mostly I'm trying to push positivity out of that, right? Because of the exposure to information that we're getting. So
Nice, nice. Anybody else? I see Dion Fraser said she has her inbox full of possible suitors. Any ladies, any suitors in the inbox? Mine wasn't. I don't know what's going on with that. Any suitors in the inbox? Let me just read a couple statistics that I saw during the month of March and May. There was a 32% increase in searches for divorces. And I know we have a domestic violence specialist amongst us, but 32% increase. That might have included me too. I don't know if one day I might have Googled divorce because I've been locked in this house with husband and children, and I'm like, this is not what I signed up for. Anybody felt that? Any of you ladies feel that way?
oh, definitely. Oh, definitely. I don't know about Googling the divorce part, but I was who was staying outside and who was staying inside. I was at that point. Because again, it's just the two separate minds and the two separate personalities being in the same space at the same time does, present some challenges, right? Because again, here you're learning new things about this person every single day that you probably have not known from before, or you knew it, but now you're getting it at a different dose, right? It's more. So, just having that ability to communicate and learning communication and being able to say, you know what, maybe my approach was wrong or your approach was definitely wrong, but just having that ability to communicate and be patient and forgiving. So again, that is why I would say COVID has presented some very positive outcomes in my life, I would say. So
as for me, I'm in a long distance relationship, so my experience is totally different. So mine was more of a yearning to see my fiance. And so we were talking even more and more because, as I said, I was so scared of like dying or when will I die or something like that. So we had to we talked to more and just talk and just like looking at the numbers and saying, okay, well, this is a good time to travel. You could travel here, you could travel here, you could travel there. And just coming, the communication and coming to a realization, like we need to be under the same roof because like, what if something happened and we cannot travel from state to state for like 6 months? Like what's going to happen to the relationship? And if we had a fallout, like the fallout had to be only 24 hours because you just don't know what will happen. So we don't want to waste time being in a fallout.
Yeah, so certainly. And thanks, ladies, for sharing. Again, if you're joining us, your top 5 at 5, like and share. Dion Fraser, we see you. Helena, Harry Rowe, we see you. L.A. Phillip, we see you. Do you ladies? Some people are shouting out you ladies. I think you need to look and see who's shouting you out from the side and see if you recognize them. One person said, Colleen, you speak nicely. That's a compliment in the Caribbean when somebody says you speak nicely.
Exactly.
Yes.
Of course we do. I just have one more comment to add about about the COVID stuff. So I'm just grateful that I don't have school age children.
Ooh.
Because I mean, I went to school and I paid my dues. I've gotten some gray hairs that might be hidden right now. And having to come home or be at home with children who are 5 to 12 years old. And now I have to do their homework with them. Now I have to do all these things. I would just go crazy because there's a lot of things that kids are doing in school now that I have no clue about. They do math in different ways that I don't understand. And if you teach them their ways, they look at you like you're cross-eyed, like, what are you talking about? So all of that stuff, I'm just grateful that I particularly don't have school-age children because now, You have parents who are forced to do, um, like become tutors or teachers to their kids because
Absolutely.
getting online schooling, and you don't have access to a teacher to ask questions to. So you have to become that person that's going to help them. And I know that that in itself could be very stressful for some parents, because they might not know the information or they might not even have the time.
Right.
Mhm.
That I think is really tough. And like I said, I'm grateful that my kids are, you can, all I have to do is just make sure that you sign in to do your homework. Or did you finish it?
Yes.
I'm not
Yeah.
like, I have to sit with you because I have to teach you how to read and how to do your math. It's a lot. I think that's a lot. I think that that has really weighed. I have some friends who have younger children, and that was one of the biggest things or challenges for them.
Right.
Yes.
And go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, I agree. I'm with Colleen, no, Yolandi. Definitely, I do not have school age children, and I'm so grateful because my nervous system will be on high,
Of course.
you know, for him going back to school in 3 weeks' time. But I have my nephew who is going back, and my sister made a decision that he's going to go back to, go back to school in 3 weeks. And it's like, are you serious? You're going to send him to
Right.
school? Like, can he stay home? And God knows I couldn't deal with that. My heart go out to the parents who have to make that decision whether to send their children back to school or keep them home until this is over.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I totally understand because me and my husband, we are basically a newlywed. It's only been 3 years, and we don't have any kids at this moment. So I was just thinking about, just in all, like if we had a baby in COVID, how would I even be able to handle having a baby and not stress that my child won't get COVID? So I totally agree with all you ladies.
What was it like being on lockdown for 4 months? I imagine for newlyweds, that's like an extended honeymoon. But for people like us that have been married for quite some time, Victoria, what was that like?
You know what? My husband's a resident doctor, so he's usually never home. So, that's something that, that comes with the territory of, going into medicine. But, when COVID did happen, yes, he was away even more, but then there was times that he was, they do types of rotations when they recruit them to different floors because where he was at in New York City, they were hit the most, obviously, right? So some of those residents had to go to different floors to help out other teams because people were getting exhausted. So, there was times that my husband was home, and actually I felt it was actually refreshing because I don't see him enough, So that little time that I got to see him, I actually enjoyed it.
Yes. And as for me, as I said, I'm in a long distance relationship. So my fiance came down to visit for 2.5 weeks. 2 weeks ago, so I took full advantage of that 2.5 weeks.
As you should.
As you absolutely should. Dion Fraser, you're too bad. I'm not going to repeat that, Dion Fraser. Dion says you had sex every day. Oh my God. Dion.
Yes.
That's how for
Dion talking about.
Dion, which one of the ladies? The newlywed or the long distance relationship? I don't know. Which one? I don't know. But certainly, a lot has gone on with COVID. Again, if you're joining us, this is your top 5 at 5. We can show you some of the individuals that are making this program possible. Let me turn it over to the back of the house, and they'll show you a little bit of who's making this program possible. Thank you for joining us. Keep like and sharing. Keep like and sharing. Keep like and sharing. Who's making this program possible?
Nine artists, 2 rounds of performances, $75,000 in cash prizes to be won, plus $10,000 for the Digicel People's Choice. Friday, August 7th, it's the first ever Cyber Monarch Groovy and Power Soca event, powered by Sunshine Promotions and Digicel.
Do you emoji? I'm talking to you. Yes, you. Do you emoji? You should. Emoji, a brand new social media platform where you can social your way. With a simple and quick way to engage, meet new friends, and social the way you just love to. No annoying blocking or censorship. Check out emoji.com from your mobile or desktop PC. Emoji.com. Do you emoji? Well, you should. Log in now. Emoji.com. Do you emoji?
Emoji.com. Log in, sign up, and emoji.
All right. So this is your top 5 at 5. If you're just joining us, we are broadcasting live. Some of us are in New York, some are in New Jersey, some are in Florida. We are representing the Caribbean. We are women from the Caribbean, talking about issues that affect women in general. We just heard of all the individuals. We heard from the individuals that are sponsoring us and making this program possible. You too can take ownership and be a part of this program by sponsoring us. We have a GoFund where you can contribute in order to sponsor this program. We're going to put the link. All right, thank you. Now, talking about people being locked in during COVID, I saw this thing. How many people know Asafa? How many of my co-hosts know Asafa Powell? Nobody?
Yes.
Okay. We know the Sprint King, right? He's a Jamaican Olympian. So Asafa, and this is a controversial topic, right? Mr. Asafa Powell was just dragged into court by his ex to pay child support. Let me share this with you. When I was, I think, 23 years old, I too bravely took my ex into court to get child support. And the first thing he did was order a paternity test. So similar to Mr. Asafa Powell, his ex brought him into court. And I want to hear, this can be a pro and con. Men, you're welcome to chime in, okay? Mr. Asafa Powell's ex brought him into court. He was paid the equivalent of $25,000. And I think is Mike, which is like $250.
$50, yeah, $250.
$250 that he was paid per month for child support. And she wanted $40,000, which is $400 a month. And I don't know Mr. Powell's pocket, so I am not keen to say whether he can or cannot afford it. But his response was he asked for a paternity test. What do you think, ladies? And I want to see what you hear on the side. Let me know about, if you've gone through this experience, men. I want to hear from you too. What do you think? Is this a right? Is this something Mr. Powell should have done openly? Or could he have done it behind closed doors? What do you think, ladies?
I was going to say, before I get started, I feel like I should have my tea here to.
I'll get mine for you, Victoria.
I should go in the kitchen and get my tea to get started. But I think, my opinion on that is that why he's waiting now to do a paternity test when he had all that time to do that paternity test. Why now? Now, I do believe that, yes, every man has a right to get their paternity test to make sure that they feel secure and that they're not going to be misled emotionally. But why now? That's my thing. Why? Why now? All of a sudden? Why you didn't do that when the child was, born?
Yeah. I think the same way too. My question is, did he sign the birth certificate? And if he signed the birth certificate, that means in his mind, he felt that the child was his. So why now bring that part up to ask for a paternity test? So I would start with the birth certificate. Is his name on the birth certificate? But he does have a right to ask for a paternity test, but it's just kind of like, why now? Why public?
Exactly.
Yeah. I did a little bit of digging on this man, and he's quite good looking. Yeah, he's a handsome guy. They say that he seems like he's got a lot of money and he's able to pay $250 a month. My question is, does anyone know how old the child is? Because I think that has a lot to do with it. I mean, if the child is like a few years old, Is it just because she decided to ask for money in a formal way? Now it becomes an issue. And if that's the case, I'm really I'm really one who's for women to advocate and to get what they need for their children, because when you participate in the act to make a child, the possibility of a child actually being born out of it is always there. So you should be responsible regardless. And if the child is of a certain age and now he wants to do it, I find that to be rather insulting. I wasn't able to find that piece of information as to the age of the child, but I wish her well, and I don't think that's a lot of money. I don't know how much
Exactly.
you can buy on $250.
That's
And
US.
if he was trying to fight that, I think that reflects very poorly on him, especially if he can afford it.
I wonder if there are any men in. I want to hear from some men. What are your thoughts in light of the fact that there are a lot of we call them jacket in Jamaica. I don't know what
Jacket,
you call
yeah.
them. We call it a jacket in Jamaica, where somebody gets ownership of the child and the child doesn't belong to them. I
Yeah.
want to hear from the men in the audience. Willie Moody, what are your thoughts? Like, should he have asked openly for paternity testing, or should he even have asked at all? You know, I'm curious. Ladies, what say you?
I think we as human beings are just emotional beings, right? And so, is it a right time or a wrong time to ask a question that is within your right? And knowing that at some points when we do not agree as adults, we tend to use or fight with fire, right? So
Yes.
there was no time for her to bring him up to court, as there was a time for him to ask for a paternity test. So it's kind of cut down to the middle, and you have to wonder what is in the best interest of the child. Most of the time, we definitely push the needs of the child to the side and we battle, right? And not looking at the damage that we're doing psychologically. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you want to be sure that this is your child, I think he does have a right. But I also feel as though you are supposed to step up to the plate, right? This is a human being that two consenting adults brought into this world. And there should be no debate on the welfare, the maintenance, and the upbringing of that child at any point. But I feel as though this is something like a firefight between two parents that's going on. But I'm hoping at the end of the day they can get it together, because and 250 is not a lot of money.
No, it's not.
Think about how much that child eats and everything that's going on right now. Just a child's need does not even equate to 250. So I'm just hoping that they can battle that out peacefully.
To answer Mr. Willie Moody, yes, you can call in. I'm gonna ask Junior or someone to kind of put the number up where Mr. Willie Moody, because I would love to hear a male perspective on this.
Yes.
Put up the number, Mr. Moody. Mr. Moody, we want to hear from you. 718-701-5720. I've shared openly about my son and being dragged into court. Let me tell you, when you go to get that swab, all the women in there know, everybody knows why you are there, because you have to go to the special place and they take the swab and they swab your mouth and they swab the baby's mouth. And let me tell you, it's a very embarrassing ordeal. As a woman, I felt belittled. Let me tell you something. I just recently got over hating my ex because I figured it was time to stop the hate. But it's embarrassing. And when I saw Mr. Powell, and he absolutely has a right. I was just wondering if this is something him and the ex could have done in private. 718-701-5720. Asafa Powell asking for paternity. Was it a jacket or is it not a jacket? But I know the whole deal is very, I don't know, distasteful. But I'm a woman, so I want to hear from you.
Right.
One of the comments that I'd like to make is I had the opportunity to work with a lot of young single women who were having children for the very first time. And I think a lot of times when you've had a child with someone and the relationship doesn't work out, obviously a lot of times children are used as pawns, but more importantly, one of the things that happens is that paternity is seen as something like, it's like a negative thing, not paternity, but alimony or
Let
pay
me
child
let,
support for the
let me
child.
not. I'm not going to interrupt you, but we have Mr. Willie on the line, and I want to keep. I want to hear a male's perspective.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon,
Yes.
top 5 at 5. Come on in, caller. Are you there, Mr. Moody?
Might be not on.
Top 5 at 5.
I'm intrigued with the conversation. I always appreciate
Wh-
conversations. I'm a therapist.
All right, hang on, hang on. Is this Mr. Willie Moody that we just invited into the chat?
Yes, it is.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for calling in. We want to hear what you have to say. Turn down what you're listening to because we're getting an echo.
Well, I don't have anything on my end.
All right, go ahead, sir. We're hearing you.
Okay. So, like I said, I'm a therapist, and so I'm always concerned with the emotional well-being of people, and in this instance, particularly the children, will be severely impacted by the dialogue between and the dynamic that's going on between these two consenting parents initially that have gotten to this place of now alimony, paternity, all these questions and issues that I believe they are true. I believe that two people that consented to come together, and sometimes they really didn't consent to come together, they just had sex and a baby came. But nevertheless, there's a responsibility that results. And the decisions going forward is going to impact that child, which is my concern. So I would say yes, if the father wants a paternity test, he's deserving of that. And then, of course, the mother is deserving of any financial support for that venture. And I believe that the parents need to decrease all that adrenaline and estrogen and testosterone for the best benefit of the child who's going to be impacted by their social interaction.
Exactly. That's very
Yeah.
true.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Moody. All right.
Thank you.
Ladies, go ahead. Let's respond.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I agree. I'm concerned with the impact it would have on the child when she gets older because, everything stays on the internet. And to read a piece that your father, let's say it comes back and that's his child, she have to see that piece in the newspaper or on the internet that he publicly asked for a paternity test. So I would wonder what it would be the psychological effect on that child when she gets to know what happened, 18 years ago.
And I agree. And remember, this is not John and Jane Doe. This is a Safa poet,
Yes.
Olympian, a public figure for all intents and purposes. Do we have another caller on the line? 718-701-5720. Ladies, go ahead. I thought we had a caller, but we don't. I think I had interrupted you earlier, Landy. Go ahead.
Finish what I was saying before is a lot of times asking for child support is seen as something like it's a bad thing, like you asked him for child support. It should never be seen as that. I mean, a man is given the opportunity to step up on his own. And it's in this situation, we don't know what led him or her going that route because the young lady or the young woman who's involved with this child, she is also someone who is very well known in the community, it seems like, from what I saw. She seems to be someone who's quite famous. I think she's on the news or on TV, something in Jamaica. So I don't think that she's in a situation where she's in dire straits. But what really upsets me is when people look at a woman requesting formalization of support for her child. It becomes like, how dare she ask for this? There's laws and there's things that govern how much a man is supposed to be given to his child on a monthly basis or a yearly basis based on income. All of these things are already worked out for us. So either you choose to do it on your own, or you as a woman you are the one who's giving birth to this child. You have to advocate for this child. You take help and you do what's necessary to make sure that your child is taken care of as best as possible. And I support women 100% when they do what is necessary to keep their child's life the way that they deserve to have it.
All right, thank you,
Yes.
Wendy. And she said she took care of my son for all his life because I really couldn't go through the stress and foolishness from his father. The back and forth stress wasn't worth it. A woman should not have to beg a man to take care of his child or her children.
Absolutely.
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 Agree with that. Agree
And
with
that's
that.
why
And I
child
think,
support is good.
most of the times, avoiding dealing with the other parent could be something beneficial because a lot of the time some people come with a lot of baggage that weighs you down because as a parent, when you become a parent, it takes a lot from you. As a woman, the hormonal change, everything changes. And so, sometimes knowing the person that we're dealing with, some women revert to doing that. But I agree with that person at the end of the day. If that works for you and it has worked for you, then do that. And it makes you a stronger person, right? Because here you brought a life into the world and you were able to stand on your own 2 feet and maintain that child. But it does not take away the fact that this person should have saw your efforts and stepped up and said, you know what? She doesn't ask me for anything and I should be given without her asking. And I should be a part of this child's life. And most of the time we tend to see that, right? The absent parent would see the progress that this parent and this child has made throughout the years. And then they come back like, hey, what did I miss? Right? And it's so unfair for some women to have to go through these embarrassing moments and, raising a child on their own without that partnership of the other parent financially maintaining, emotionally, and just being there, to support. So kudos to you, girl. You rock.
My position is this: if that man is not taking his financial responsibility, ladies, brave enough and carry him to court. If you don't want the money, you get a little bank account, you put that little money in it. It's for 18 years. When that child turns 18, then you have, that pot of money for the child.
For the child.
I absolutely agree. Hold him to his responsibility. Wendy, I agree with you, but I don't let some of these men off easily.
Exactly.
Do not let them off. I think we can hold them to their responsibility. If they ask for the paternity test, sure, you can get your paternity test. And if it's yours, then you're going to hold up your end of the bargain. This is your top 5 at 5. We're coming to the end of the first program, season 1, episode 1. I'm going to throw it out back to the ladies to see what, if anything else, they have to add. But if you're just joining us, I really, really, really thank you for joining us. Continue to like and share and support. We're going to be here every Sunday at 5, and we're going to be talking about juicy topics that affect Caribbean women, that affect women in general. On the screen right now, you can see how to support us to make sure programs like these stay on the air. Victoria, you've been quiet for a little bit. I know you're a newlywed, but what are your thoughts?
Like I said, my whole thoughts with that part is that I always believe that the man should always step up. I mean, if it's your child, I do believe that it's important for you to be that male figure in that child's life, emotionally and financially. I mean, if you don't, it just affects the child on the whole. Probably not now, but 18 years later, that child might have some emotional problems because of their father has been absent. Yeah. So I do believe that, it's important for a man to do what he needs to do, and that women should not block the man to do what he needs to do.
Hermeline, anything to add?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
She was just saying that. I was just thinking, what about, parents who want to be there presently, does not have the financial backing? Or are we going to say, because you can't give, you can't be a part? Or are we accepting the fact that they're willing to be there, money or no money, as long as you are present for that child and doing the things that you need to do, until you get back on your feet? And I think a lot of the times, we disregard those minor details that sometimes men struggle too, right? We know the struggles and they struggle too. So I would think, it should be a balance where we're accepting the little that they're doing in terms of wanting to be present, wanting to step up to the plate, and allowing them to do that, and not blocking it based on their shortcomings.
But I would just like to add on my own personal child support journey. I took the highway mentality for like 7 years, doing it all by myself because I could have done it, and thinking that he couldn't afford it because he said to me he wasn't working many times, and I just took it at face value, and I believed him. And one day, with a whole bunch of events happened, and I was supposed to go to court, and then I found out he was making over $100,000 a year.
Wow.
For the last for the last 7 years, and I was there feeling sorry for him, going, okay, and he'll give $100 here or $200 there, pay the light bill here, or help me out here and there. But he said, work is slow. He's in construction. And I believed him for 7 years. I believed that, but God was so good that everything, I got everything back. So everything turned out for me to be good because he was willing. He just said, Wani, take me to court. I'm going to pay you. I'm going to start paying you child support now.
Wow. And we see the comments in the corner. We say, one individual, I won't use names here, says she's been going through it for 24 years. And the excuse was she made more money than him. Men, you too are entitled to child support. If you have custody of that child, you are entitled to child support. Dion says she's not chasing no father, not even a snake leave its babies. I agree. For one woman, she says, another person says, I have been dealing with maintenance through the court 14 years and he still owes over $16,000 and they can't find him to serve him. So those are some of the challenges they're facing.
Yeah.
We're going to take one last call and then we're going to wrap up on the for today. Let me hear it from the caller on the line, top 5 at 5.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Who are we speaking with?
My name is Geneva. Hi, Yolandi. I'm listening to the program, and I'm tend to agree with all you say. But I think it's important to emphasize that to women out there that not every person that you see that look like a man is a man, because sometimes boys make children too, but men raise kids. So going after a man for the child support is good, but sometimes child support is not everything that it's meant to be. Sometimes they give you, but it's with a heavy heart. Raising a child the proper way is so important. Teaching a child, giving a child the value and the respect and the love, that's something that money cannot buy. So that's important, and it's important to stress that it's important that we go after the men for the child support. But it's also important that if a man don't want to give child support, sometimes it doesn't make sense going after them, because a child needs more than money to be a productive member in our society. And that's very important. So our young ladies need to speak with men, try to pick a man when they decide to pick it and not boys.
Absolutely. Thank you, caller. And I just want to commend all the fathers out there that are doing well. I don't want this to come off as 5 women bashing men. We commend and recognize all the men that are being absolutely amazing fathers out there. Ladies, it's season 1, episode 1. How do you feel?
Great.
Phenomenal.
Junior, give us a little music so these 5 women can shake a little bit. Give us just a little background so we can shake it out a little bit. We did it.
We did it. Yeah. Yeah.
She's enjoying the sunlight out there.
We want to thank everybody for joining us. I want to thank all you ladies, my beautiful host.
Yes, thank you. You've been wonderful.
Next week.
Yes.
Absolutely. Can't wait. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll be here every Sunday at 5. Remember, you can support us to the side. You can support this program. All right. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Donate and support.
Do you emoji? Do you emoji? I'm talking to you. Yes, you. Do you emoji? You should. Emoji, a brand new social media platform where you can social your way. With a simple and quick way to engage, meet new friends, and social the way you just love to. No annoying blocking or censorship. Check out emoji.com from your mobile or desktop PC. Emoji.com. Do you emoji? Well, you should. Log in now. Emoji.com. Do you emoji?
Emoji.com. Log in, sign up, and emoji.